Hey warrior, stop. Take a breath. Let the noise of the world fade. The notifications, the demands, the chaos that tries to claim your mind the moment you wake. Because before the day begins, there's a stillness, a silence that belongs to you. In that silence, you meet yourself. Not the mask, not the expectation, not the image others see, but you, the quiet awareness behind it all. And in that stillness, a question rises. Who am I becoming? Every day, the world tries to shape you, to make you reactive, distracted, and uncertain. But the truth is simple. Every day, you're either training your mind to break or to become unbreakable. This is the difference between drifting through life and leading it, between existing and becoming. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fearless. You just need discipline. And discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. Because when you master your habits, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you become unstoppable. This is not about motivation that fades by noon. This is about rewiring the way you think, act, and live. One day, one habit, one conscious choice at a time. So today, I'm going to show you 10 habits, 10 simple but sacred daily practices that will change how you see yourself, how you respond to life, and how you rise from every storm. But before we go there, you must understand this. Your habits are not random. They're not small. They are the architecture of your destiny. Every thought, every decision, every action, it all builds. And every brick you lay is shaping the foundation of your life. So if you want to change your life, start with what you do every day. You will never rise higher than the standards you live by. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you repeat. And what you repeat, you become. Most people want transformation, but few understand the cost. They want the mountain's view without the climb. They want confidence without the struggle. They want peace without the discipline. But peace isn't something you find, it's something you build. And discipline is the hammer, because every single day, your habits are casting votes for the person you'll become. You are either feeding your power or feeding your weakness. There is no neutral ground. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength, and that strength begins with what you choose to repeat. See, we think our lives are the big moments, the breakthroughs, the victories, the big wins. But your life isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the silence. It's built in those small, invisible decisions you make when no one's watching. When the alarm goes off and your body says no. When doubt whispers you can't. When fear says not today. It's in those moments you build or break your destiny. Your habits are not chores, they're rituals. They're sacred acts of becoming. So if you want to be unstoppable, if you want to walk into life unshaken, grounded, and clear, you must take ownership of your daily rhythm. This is your foundation. Control your mornings, control your thoughts, control your emotions, control your focus. Because whoever controls these, controls their reality. And that's the message Stoicism has been whispering for 2,000 years. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control your response. That's where your freedom lives. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's why these 10 habits are not just about productivity or success. They're about power. Power over your own mind. Power over the storms that once controlled you. Power over your direction, your emotion, and your destiny. Because you can't control the world, but you can master yourself. And once you do, nothing outside, you can break what's within you. So take a breath, get still, because from this moment on, we rebuild from the inside out. Every day, every habit, every choice. You're not chasing greatness anymore. You're becoming it. Listen closely. Your mind is the architect. Your thoughts are the blueprints. Your habits are the bricks. And your life is the structure that rises from them. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a message sent to your future self. It says, "This is who I am becoming." The Stoics understood this long before neuroscience gave it a name. They called it discipline of the mind. Today, we call it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repetition. Every time you choose focus over distraction, your brain changes. Every time you choose courage over fear, your brain changes. Every time you choose stillness over chaos, your brain changes. Your habits are carving new neural paths, reshaping how you think, feel, and react. You are literally training your brain to become unbreakable. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." And that's the foundation of every Stoic life. The understanding that pain is not your enemy, it's your sculptor. Every time life tests you, it's chiseling away the unnecessary. It's refining you building endurance, perspective, and inner calm. The Stoics taught that there are only two kinds of things in life: what you can control, what you cannot. And the secret to peace is learning to release the second. You can't control other people. You can't control outcomes. You can't control how the world moves. But you can control how you show up. You can control your thoughts. You can control your effort. You can control your response. This is the dichotomy of control, the cornerstone of Stoicism. The moment you stop wasting energy on what you can't change, you free up immense power to master what you can. That's how you build emotional clarity. That's how you build focus. That's how you stop being pulled by chaos and start directing your own peace. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the darkest horrors of the 20th century, wrote one of the greatest truths of human resilience. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space, that pause, is everything. It's the moment between reaction and wisdom, between fear and composure, between chaos and control. When you learn to live in that space, you stop being a prisoner of emotion and become the master of your own mind. That is what Stoicism trains, not suppression but sovereignty, not numbness but clarity. You begin to see the world as it is, not as your fears paint it to be. And in that clarity you move with purpose, not panic. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, faced betrayal, plague, and war, yet in his journal he wrote to himself words that would echo through centuries. The mind adapts and converts to its own. Purpose is the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is amor fati, the love of fate. The idea that every obstacle is not a curse, but an opportunity. The Stoic does not fight the storm. He becomes it. He uses its force to move forward, not backward. When things fall apart, when plans fail, when people walk away, the Stoic mind asks only one question: how can I use this? Because everything that happens, good or bad, is material for growth. Adversity becomes a teacher. Pain becomes a compass. Loss becomes awakening. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, this is happening for me. That shift from resistance to acceptance, from reaction to response, is the essence of strength. Everything you do begins with thought. But most people live unconsciously, letting thoughts run wild, unexamined, unchallenged. They build their prisons one belief at a time. But not you. Not anymore. Because awareness is the beginning of mastery. When you watch your thoughts, not judge them, but observe them, you begin to realize something powerful. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And once you realize that, you gain control. That is why daily reflection, journaling, silence, meditation, isn't a ritual of monks or philosophers. It's a tool for warriors of the mind. It's where you clear the fog, where you see yourself as you are, where you confront your weaknesses without shame and your strengths without arrogance. Every morning, every night, you return to the mirror of thought. You look inward and ask, what did I control today? What controlled me? And in that simple practice, you grow. Science confirms what Stoicism always knew, that your brain is not fixed. Every repetition, every act of focus, every habit of calm, it rewires neural pathways. You are constantly training your nervous system how to respond to life. When you wake up and immediately scroll your phone, you train your mind for distraction. When you avoid discomfort, you train your brain for weakness. When you complain, you train your mind to see what's wrong. But when you rise with gratitude, when you breathe through chaos, when you keep promises to yourself, You're building new circuits of discipline, resilience, and focus. You are literally engineering your mindset. That's why these daily habits matter. Because they're not small, they're structural. They're rewiring the brain that interprets your world. Change your thoughts, and the world you see changes too. You are not powerless. You are programmable. And every single day, through your habits, you are writing the code of your own consciousness. So ask yourself, what program am I running? Is it fear? Is it distraction? Is it self-doubt? Or is it purpose, discipline, and peace? Because whatever you repeat becomes your life. You wake up. And for a moment, there's silence. Then the noise begins. Your phone lights up messages, reminders, expectations. Your mind floods with yesterday's failures, tomorrow's worries, and all the things you still haven't done. You stare at yourself in the mirror and whisper, "When will I feel like I'm enough?" You've been running for so long, chasing success, approval, perfection. But no matter how far you go, peace always feels one step ahead. You compare your path to theirs. You scroll through their highlight reels, wondering why your life doesn't shine like that. And deep inside, a quiet voice says, "Maybe I'm behind." But listen carefully, that voice is not truth. It's the echo of a distracted world. A world that measures worth by noise, not depth. By attention, not intention. By speed, not stillness. You've been taught to chase everything but yourself. The Stoics would say, if you seek tranquility, do less, or rather do what's essential. Marcus Aurelius. And what's essential is you. Your focus. Your mind. Your direction. You've fallen before. You've trusted people who didn't stay. You've built things that broke. You've poured your soul into moments that ended in silence. You know what failure feels like, that sting that tells you maybe you weren't enough. But hear this, failure doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming. Because failure is not the end, it's the evidence that you're in motion. You're shaping yourself through every setback, every scar, every sleepless night. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests the brave." And you, my friend, are being tested, not to destroy you, but to define you. You see, pain has a strange purpose. It refines what comfort hides. It strips away illusion, leaving only truth. It teaches you what truly matters, what deserves your time, your energy, your heart. The pain you feel today is not punishment. It's a sculptor working in silence. It's carving depth into your soul. It's making space for strength you don't yet see. One day you'll look back and realize, the things that broke you were the same things that built you. Growth feels lonely sometimes. You start walking a path few understand. You stop fitting into the places that once felt comfortable. You say no more often. You protect your peace more fiercely. And people begin to call you distant, changed. But you are not distant, you are becoming clear. You're learning that silence is not isolation, it's power. That solitude is not loneliness, it's alignment. You no longer chase crowds, you chase clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You've stopped talking about change and started living it. You've stopped needing validation and started valuing direction. And yes, it feels lonely at times. But that's the price of evolution. When you outgrow chaos, you enter peace. And peace is quiet. So quiet, most people can't handle it. But you will learn to breathe there. To find yourself again in that stillness. To build your fire not from noise, but from purpose. There will be days you want to give up. When your body's tired, your mind heavy, your spirit questioning if any of it matters. Those are the days that define you. Because greatness is not born in motivation, it's forged in repetition. It's in doing what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is choosing who you want to be over and over until it's no longer a choice. The Stoics would remind you, you become what you give your attention to, Epictetus. So when doubt speaks, don't fight it. Observe it. Thank it for reminding you to return to your purpose. Then take one more step. You don't need to know how far the road goes. You just need to take the next step and the next one after that. Because progress isn't built in leaps, it's built in inches. And inch by inch you climb, there comes a moment when something shifts. It doesn't happen in noise or fireworks. It happens in stillness, when you realize you're no longer reacting to the world, but responding to it. The anger that once owned you, now it passes through you. The fear that once froze you, now it fuels your focus. The pain that once broke you, now it builds your patience. This is the quiet revolution inside you, the transformation that no one sees, but everyone feels. You become calm in chaos, still in the storm, focused amid distraction, because you've learned the deepest truth of all. Peace is not found when life gets easier. Peace is found when your mind gets stronger. And strength doesn't roar. It breathes. It observes. It endures. You rise each day a little clearer, a little more grounded, a little less shaken by the world's noise. And that's how it happens, not all at once but gradually. Every morning you choose to center yourself instead of chasing validation. Every night you reflect instead of escaping. Every moment you return to that inner space where peace lives. You are not who you were. You are who you are becoming. So breathe. The struggle is not a sign you're failing. It's proof you're still in the fight. And that fight, that daily resistance against chaos, is where your power is built. Take a deep breath. In and out. Feel the weight of everything you've carried, the pain, the worry, the regret, the striving. And now imagine setting it down. All of it. Right here. Right now. Because this is the turning point. You've been running from pain, fighting against life, trying to bend everything to your will. But what if the secret was never to fight, but to flow? What if strength wasn't resistance, but acceptance? There's a phrase the Stoics lived by, amor fati, the love of fate. It means to not only accept what happens, but to embrace it, not as punishment, not as coincidence, but as material fuel for your growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." That's what you are, a fire. Every challenge, every loss, every setback is wood for your flame. The greater the trial, the greater your transformation. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." You start to see that everything that happens is not happening to you. It's happening for you, for your strength, for your patience, for your wisdom. When you live with amor fati, you no longer curse the rain, you use it to grow. You no longer fear the dark, you use it to sharpen your sight. You no longer resist life, you move with it, turning every obstacle into an opportunity. That's not weakness. That's power, the kind that cannot be taken from you. Now breathe. And remember this, you will not live forever. You are mortal. Your time is finite. Memento mori, remember death. To most that sounds dark. To the Stoic it's the key to life. Because when you remember you will die, you start to truly live. You stop wasting hours on things that don't matter. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop living for tomorrow and start living today. Death is not the end, it's the reminder that this moment is all you truly own. That peace, joy, gratitude, discipline, all begin now in this breath. Every sunrise is a gift. Every challenge a teacher. Every moment of silence an invitation. When you live with death in mind, you stop fearing loss. Because you realize you were never here to possess anything. You were here to experience everything. So live with urgency. Not panic, but purpose. Live in such a way that when death comes, you can look back and say, I lived fully, I loved deeply, and I became who I was meant to be. Now we come back to the most powerful Stoic truth of all. The dichotomy of control. There are things you can control, and things you cannot. Your thoughts, your actions, your effort, these are yours. Everything else, the opinions, the outcomes, the reactions of others are not. And the moment you learn that difference, you free yourself. Because most suffering isn't caused by what happens. It's caused by wanting control over what you can't. Let it go. You don't control how people see you. You don't control what they say or whether they stay. You don't control the weather, the timing, or the chaos of the world. But you do control your discipline. You do control your response. You do control your attitude. That's your kingdom. That's your empire. And no one, no event, no loss, no failure can take that from you. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's wanting nothing that depends on the external. It's being at peace regardless of circumstance. That's why the Stoics were unshaken in chaos. Because their power didn't come from outside. It came from within. This is the reframe. The mental pivot that changes everything. You stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as practice. You stop seeing life as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something that happens for you. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start mastering the controllable. Your mind, your focus, your choices. And with that shift, life transforms. Suddenly, the same storm that used to drown you becomes the wind in your sails. The same obstacle that once broke you becomes the reason you rise. The same uncertainty that once scared you becomes your greatest training ground. You become untouchable, not because life stops being hard, but because you stop being fragile. You've learned to bend, not break, to see, not react, to flow, not fight. That's what Stoicism is, not cold detachment, but warm strength. Not silence out of fear, but silence out of understanding. From this moment on, every challenge that comes your way is no longer an enemy. It's your teacher. Every obstacle your ally. Every moment of uncertainty, your invitation to grow. You don't run from difficulty anymore. You welcome it. Because you've learned to whisper the words that make you unstoppable. Amor fati. I love what is. I use what comes. I rise from it all. Every day begins before the sun rises. And before the world wakes, you have a choice. To react or to create. Your morning is your foundation. It's the quiet architecture of your mind before the world demands a piece of it. Most people wake up and hand their piece away before they even stand. They scroll. They rush. They absorb chaos before their soul has even spoken. But the Stoic warrior does something different. They wake with intention. Marcus Aurelius began his days by reminding himself. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. That's it. Each morning, rise to do the work of being human, the work of purpose, focus, gratitude, and strength. Don't let your phone speak before your soul does. Breathe. Be still. Write your thoughts. Remind yourself who you are and what you control. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. When you build your mornings with discipline, You build a life of peace. Own your mornings, or the world will own them for you. Your mind is your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. Most people let it wander unguarded, collecting every fear, every distraction, every voice that doesn't belong. But mastery begins with awareness. Every thought you entertain builds a neural path. Every path you repeat becomes your reality. So every day, watch your thoughts. Don't judge them, observe them. The Stoics called this prasaj, the practice of constant attention to the mind. They believe the true battle is never outside, it's within. When you notice negativity, don't suppress it. Redirect it. When you feel anger, don't explode. Pause and ask, is this within my control? When you feel fear, don't hide. Thank it for sharpening your focus. Because each time you pause before reacting, you're teaching your mind that you are in command. Neuroscience confirms this. That self-awareness literally strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, regulation, and choice. You're not just controlling emotion. You're rewiring your brain to stay calm in chaos. Master your mind, and the world cannot move you. Discipline is not pain, it's training. And every day you avoid discomfort, you train weakness. But every day you lean into it, you train strength. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." So every day, do something hard, something that demands effort, something that stretches you beyond comfort. Cold showers, early workouts, deep work without distraction, speaking truth when silence would be easier. These small moments of voluntary difficulty teach your mind one thing: I can handle this. Your nervous system adapts. Your confidence grows. Your fear begins to shrink. Because courage isn't born in comfort, it's born in resistance. You are the result of what you repeatedly endure. Every time you choose the harder path, you build the neural circuitry of strength. And eventually, the hard things no longer scare you. They stabilize you. Do something hard every day. Not to prove your worth, but to remind yourself that you're alive, capable, and unbreakable. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Not every noise deserves your attention. Not every battle is worth your sword. Every day, guard your energy like it's sacred, because it is. The Stoics taught that your time and your focus are the only true currencies of life. Waste them on distraction, and you will live a scattered life. Invest them in purpose, and you will live a meaningful one. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." You don't owe explanations for your peace. You don't need to defend your solitude. You don't need to entertain every argument that invites you into chaos. Walk away. Log off. Protect your energy as if your life depends on it, because your direction does. Be deliberate with who and what you allow into your mental space, because energy flows where attention goes. And every day you choose peace over noise. You're training your nervous system to rest in power, not reaction. Guard your energy and watch your clarity multiply. In a world addicted to noise, silence has become a superpower. Most people talk to impress. Few act to progress. But Stoicism teaches us that action is louder than words. That wisdom lives not in what you say, but in what you do. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. You don't need to announce your goals. You don't need to broadcast your plans. Move in silence. Work in discipline. Let your results speak your name. Because when you speak less, you conserve energy. When you act more, you build momentum. And when you build momentum, you create gravity. A pull so strong it silences doubt and amplifies purpose. Every day speak less. Complain less. Explain less. Do more. Listen deeper. Observe longer. Because silence isn't emptiness, it's focus. And in that focus, your power multiplies. 5 habits. 5 quiet revolutions of the mind. You own your mornings. You master your mind. You do hard things. You guard your energy. You speak less, act more. They seem simple, but repeated daily, they turn your mind into a fortress. Because greatness isn't built in noise, it's built in repetition, in silence, in the still work of discipline. Every day, the mind searches for what's missing. That's its survival instinct, to notice danger, absence, threat. But the Stoic rewires that instinct into strength. Gratitude is not naive optimism. It's clarity, the recognition that what you already have is enough for this moment. Seneca wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware as if it were silver, and a man of no worth who uses silver as if it were earthenware." Gratitude is perspective. It trains the brain to stop chasing what's next and honor what is. Every morning, list 3 things, not material things but moments. The breath in your chest. The sunrise that still greets you. The strength that kept you alive through storms that once tried to break you. Neuroscience calls it neural reframing. The deliberate act of focusing on abundance activates dopamine and serotonin, the neurochemistry of peace. Every time you practice gratitude, you're not ignoring the darkness. You're choosing not to live in it. Gratitude doesn't make life easier. It makes your mind stronger. Your power only exists here in this moment. Not in your past regrets. Not in your imagined futures. Here now. The Stoics called it living in accordance with nature. To act well in the present moment, with full awareness of what's within your control. Viktor Frankl wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Presence is that space. And it's in that space that freedom lives. Every time your mind drifts to mistakes, to fears, to what might happen, bring it back to now. Feel the air in your lungs. Hear the sounds around you. Anchor yourself in this breath. Because this is where you build strength. This is where you build peace. When you learn to live each moment fully, you stop being pulled by time and start moving with it. Presence is not a concept. It's the practice of living awake. You can't control the weather. You can't control how others see you. You can't control outcomes, timing, or every turn life takes. But you can always control your response. Epictetus taught, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." This is the dichotomy of control, the foundation of Stoic peace. Each day, remind yourself, I can't control everything, but I can control my effort, my attitude, and my focus. Letting go isn't weakness. It's strength and acceptance. It's choosing to stop pouring energy into what's outside your influence. This shift rewires the brain, reducing cortisol, the stress hormone, and increasing clarity and emotional resilience. When you stop trying to control everything, you gain control over yourself. So when life throws chaos at you, pause, breathe, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release. Peace begins there. Growth is not automatic, it's intentional. Every evening, look back, not with judgment but with awareness. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I let emotion lead instead of reason? What lesson is life trying to teach me right now? Marcus Aurelius did this every night. He journaled his reflections, not to impress but to evolve. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, and when you retire at night, examine your conscience. What did you do and what could be done better? Reflection is a mirror. It reveals patterns, emotional triggers, repeated mistakes, unhealed wounds. And through that awareness, transformation begins. Neuroscience shows that reflection activates metacognition, the brain's ability to observe its own thoughts. That's the birthplace of self-awareness, and self-awareness is the seed of change. Every night, return to stillness. Write, breathe, learn, then rest. Because reflection is not dwelling, it's refining. No matter what happens, begin again. Every failure, every relapse, every moment you fall short, none of it defines you. The Stoic understands that life is a cycle of falling and rising, breaking and rebuilding, dying and being reborn. There is no final version of you, only the next one. So when you stumble, don't drown in guilt. Rise with grace. Viktor Frankl said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." That's your power to begin again. Every sunrise is mercy. Every breath is renewal. Every moment is a new chance to choose who you want to be. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are what you choose now. So no matter what yesterday took from you, stand up, look forward, and begin again. Because the unstoppable aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who never stop rising. You've heard the words. You've walked through the storms. You've seen the laws of strength, the habits of the mind, the quiet disciplines that separate the lost from the focused, the weak from the unwavering. But now comes the real work, integration. Because wisdom without practice is noise. Understanding without repetition is illusion. The brain you carry is plastic, alive, changing, sculpted by repetition and attention. Every time you practice these habits, every breath of presence, every morning of discipline, every pause before reaction, you are literally rewiring the architecture of your mind. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. The Stoics called it virtue. Different words, same truth. You become what you repeatedly think, feel, and do. Your neural circuits are clay. Your focus is the sculptor. Your actions are the hands that shape the person you will wake up as tomorrow. This is why the Stoics valued daily discipline over grand emotion. They understood that mastery is not a feeling, it's a rhythm. A daily pulse of awareness that slowly, quietly transforms your entire being. So practice the habits. Repeat the affirmations. Guard the silence. Each time you return to them, you deepen the grooves of strength in your mind. You move from knowing to being. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be aware. You're here to walk through the fire of your own mind and come out tempered, not shattered. You're here to remember that life will never give you control, only the chance to choose your response. And in that choice lies freedom, peace, power. Each day you live these truths, you step closer to your essence, the quiet, unwavering self behind all noise and fear. And that self, calm, aware, unshaken, is unstoppable. Hey, warrior. Pause. Listen. That silence you feel right now, that's you. Not the voice of the world. Not the weight of the past. Not the noise of what could be. Just you. Breathing. Present. Whole. You've walked through chaos and chosen calm. You've faced resistance and chosen growth. You've learned that discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Every day you practice these habits. You're not chasing success. You're embodying it. You're not running from fear. You're transforming it into focus. You're not looking for motivation. You're building it through motion, through repetition, through stillness. And as you rise each morning, Remember, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are the process, not the product. The student and the sculptor. The flame and the fuel. The world will keep testing you. Life will keep pulling. People will keep doubting. But you return to the stillness. You return to the habits. You return to yourself. Because the moment you choose awareness over reaction, discipline over chaos, gratitude over lack, you rise. And each time you rise, you remind the world that strength is quiet and peace is power. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't chase, don't beg, don't rush. Breathe, stand tall, begin again, and whisper to yourself, with absolute conviction, I am the architect of my mind.